Kansas City Chiefs are coming off a big win against their division rivals in Week 4, keeping them at 4-0 on the season. While this New Orleans Saints are coming off a tough loss against their division rival, my Atlanta Falcons, as you can see here. And so they're going to be coming into this, I think Monday night. Yeah, it's Monday Night Football game 2-2 against the reigning Super Bowl champs. My name is Tyler, here with my brother Ryan, and we're going to break down this Saints Chiefs Monday Night Football matchup, the matchups within the game that you need to watch. And at the very end of the video, provide our predictions for this game. Before we get into that, though, we are trying to get to 100 new subscribers for this Week 5 prediction video series. We've been very fortunate enough, thanks to you all, that we have been able to meet that goal the past 4 weeks as well. And so this week is no different. Let's see if we can meet that goal, and any help is greatly appreciated. So if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the Tracy Take. Leave a like and a comment. Let us know who you think is going to win this game and why. And Ryan, it's coming off here. Let's talk about the Chiefs real quick, though. We're watching the game here as well, but everybody knows if you're watching this video now about the Rashee Rice injury. And Rashee, wish you nothing but the best. So Obia have a quick and speedy recovery, but that injury did not look good. Chiefs were able to win this game against the Los Angeles Chargers 17-10 in a grinded-out fashion. And it reminded me of how they had to win games towards the end of last year. I'm very curious now, losing Rashee. If that is the case, we are recording this Sunday night. Nothing has been confirmed, but everybody kind of knows the inevitable, even based off the reporting. And then I think with this, though, they were able to grind out a victory, and we'll have to kind of see how things go from there. On the flip side, the Saints, I'll be fully transparent. Saints fans, thank you guys for the win. You guys absolutely stopped our offense a vast majority of the time during today's game, but it's your guys you guys just had some errors. So the muff punt, the unlucky tip interception, the late pass interference call on Darnell Mooney. And so that was really kind of it. I think you guys were the better team today, but which I guess if you're going to take a positive out of it. But going, though, on the road on Monday Night Football against Kansas City Chiefs, it's going to be a very fun matchup, but very tough match, much tougher matchup than I think you guys had today. Ryan, I want to throw it over to you here now that the regular season, preseason is done, so to say, as we like to call September, essentially 4 weeks in. What are just kind of your overall thoughts on both the Chiefs and the Saints teams through now at the end of this period?
Yeah, I'll start with the Saints. And the Saints came out looking great in the first 2 weeks. Dominant win over who'd they play in week 1?
Dominant
win over the Panthers.
Over the Cowboys is, I think, what you're going to go say.
Yeah. That one was kind of expected. The dominant win over the Cowboys was not what was expected. And then laid an egg against Philadelphia. Had a good game, I think, against the Falcons. Just made a few critical mistakes that allowed the Falcons to kind of hang around and then at the very end take the lead and kind of steal a win. And so I like this Saints team. They're a lot better than I thought they would be. They play really good team football. Like Derek Carr, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Alvin Kamara. That's a good group of weapons. And I think they're outperforming what I had estimated them kind of coming into this season. And I think going forward, this is not going to be an easy out. They're going to be a really tough team to beat. They're good in the trenches. They did have a few injuries today. I believe Demario Davis and Tyrann Mathieu left against the Falcons today and did not return late in the game.
I think Demario Davis was already out.
Willie Gay. That's right.
But both Davis and Gay did not play a majority of the game at minimum.
And so I think they're just a good football team. And the Chiefs, I have mixed opinions on the Chiefs because at the end of the day, they have Andy Reid and they have Patrick Mahomes, so they're always going to be tough to beat. They have the best quarterback in the league and probably the best overall coach in football right now. And so that's going to make them really tough to beat. However, I felt at times this offense has really been stagnant. You go look, they had a couple good spurts against the Ravens in week 1. They struggled, I think, against a weaker Cincinnati defense in week 2. Your Falcons gave them all they could handle in week 3. And outside of 2 really explosive plays in week 4, that Chargers team really kind of held them in check. And I know the Rashee Rice injury early on in that game probably played a factor just in the overall psyche of some of the Chiefs players. But Travis Kelce hasn't quite looked the same to me this year. He looks like he's moving like a 34, 35-year-old. With Rashee Rice out now, that's their possession receiver. Juju Smith-Schuster is going to probably have to take on a larger role. And Xavier Worthy has looked good in those explosive plays, but like today he had 3 catches for 74 yards, and I think like 60 of it came on one play.
Well, and so I when I was looking at Rice and like seeing the injury and everything like that, I did immediately think of you and your theory of Xavier Worthy and how he's going to look in this offense, because now he's
a future wide receiver, but he's a deep threat.
Yeah, well, it's going to be, they have Juju Smith-Schuster. They're going to have Justin Watson as well, and I'm sure there's other guys that were missing. I saw Sky Moore missed a pass that went right through his hands today, and I'm like, that's on par. So Noah Gray, I'm very curious to see how he steps up as well, because he seems kind of like the transition to Travis Kelce in my eyes. And so what this Chiefs offense turns into is going to be very fascinating, and it's going to be interesting to see how the Saints team kind of game plans for this Chiefs team, because when a big player like that, like Rice, goes down, it kind of even messes up both teams a little bit, because you're trying to really scramble on. Well, now we don't have to worry about this guy, but like, what are still some of the other?
How are they going to try to attack us now that they don't have this weapon?
And you're trying to do that on the fly. So this is going to be an interesting game, though. Now that both teams have a full week and an extra day actually to even prepare. So, but before we get into the game itself, if you do want to put a couple bucks down on Monday Night Football or 5 games, check the link down below in the description box. BetUS has a bunch of great promotions going on right now for first-time players, including this game and all the other games of Week 5, as I already mentioned. So I would think, too, kind of coming into this game, we'll have to see what the odds are come kickoff time. However, I do believe the Chiefs are going to be favorites, going to be at home, and they're undefeated. They're the reigning Super Bowl, back-to-back reigning Super Bowl champs. And so I think it's just going to be too much for them, or it's going to be hard not to bet on them. And so, but that being said, though, this Saints team is going to be no joke if they're going to be fully healthy. Biggest thing is going to have to monitor the overall health status for the Saints defense, but it will be very interesting to see how if you're going to have Marshawn Lattimore line up against Xavier Worthy. I think Xavier Worthy is going to be very ineffective in that game, to be completely honest. I think I think I need to go back and double check exactly, but I don't think Kirk Cousins threw the ball Marshawn Lattimore's way at all. If so, it was 1 or 2 times.
I remember they called it out on the broadcast.
It was at least once, because they called it out on the broadcast because it was in the second half or something.
Yeah.
Like that. So whatever side of the field Marshawn Lattimore's on, now it is Patrick Mahomes. There's a big difference between Mahomes and Kirk Cousins. So that's going to be interesting. Going to be very curious to see how the offensive line does against the Saints defensive line, which definitely got after the Kirk Cousins and the Falcons offense today as well. And the Chiefs are also banged up too, because Isaiah Pacheco's still out. Kareem Hunt did have a good game today, but just that matchup in the trenches on both sides of the ball, I think is going to be very fascinating as well, because if the Saints are probably going to deploy a very similar type of strategy that they did in today's game, which I feel like they're going to want to get the ball out of Derek Carr's hand pretty quickly. And with having a guy like Alvin Kamara, is just a huge game changer, because it allows for that quick snap or the quick pass, because I think Chris Jones could have a day if Derek Carr just sat back in the pocket waiting for routes to develop. But I have a feeling, though, it's going to be a very effective strategy for the Saints to get the ball out of his hands quickly, like how they did today. A lot of passes to Alvin Kamara, or a lot of quick outs to Olave or Juwan Johnson. And then that's going to open up that deep ball for Rashee Rice.
I was going to say, I think one of the big things that the Saints did well early on is they spread defenses out horizontally and really made them defend every blade of grass. And then that's when they started to burn teams deep. Like, you look at that opening drive coming out of halftime against the Cowboys. They had been setting that up really all game just to come out and on that one play just bang Rashee Shaheed for 70 yards, and like that's how they start the second half. So and I think this Saints team, they're well coached. The mistakes that they made today were uncharacteristic, and the loss against Philadelphia just came in there with a good game plan, kind of hit them in the mouth. The Saints did fight back at the end. It's just Dallas Goedert got the long catch at the end of the game and set Philadelphia up to take the lead. Kind of similar to what the Falcons did to them. And so let's kind of get into predictions here. Tyler, I want to throw it over to you first. Who you taking in this matchup?
So I'm going to go with Kansas City. It's going to be hard for me. I mean, it's going to be Monday Night Football. at Kansas City. The Saints' offensive game plan, I think, is exactly like what you said, and I was thinking about this earlier. Is they have the deep ball guy in Rashee Rice, who has developed more as a route runner. He was catching more intermediate or short passes as well, which was impressive, but also very scary to see as well as a Falcons fan. Then you got your number one receiver in Chris Olave, who can kind of do it all. He's that middle of the route guy, and then you have Alvin Kamara, who can be your dump off guy, but you can also put him in different scenarios as well. And you go look at today's game, where Olave had 8 catches on 10 targets, 8 catches for 11 targets for Rashee Rice, 7 catches for 9 targets for Alvin Kamara. So this Chiefs defense and Steve Spagnuolo are going to have to play really well. They're going to have to be able to cover the entire field and at the same time provide good pressure, I think, on Derek Carr, because whenever Falcons did get an advantage, it's when they sent pressure. I think it made Carr have to make a quick throw. That's where I feel like we had some advantage today. Then on the flip side too, I am going to be curious as well on how healthy the Saints defense is going to be, and that's where I think I just give the edge a little bit to the Chiefs, because it's still Patrick Mahomes, it's still Andy Reid, it's still Monday Night Football. They're going to have an extra day to kind of prepare and come up with a game plan. I think it's going to be kind of a nasty game. By nasty, I mean a very grinded out physical type of game, something similar to what we saw with the Chiefs-Chargers game today. And so I have the Chiefs winning. I think it's going to be something along the lines of like 20-17.
Okay. I'm going to disagree with you on this one. Barring, I want to see the injury report on the Saints defense, but I just think I don't necessarily, it's not that I don't trust this Chiefs offense, because I think Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid will find a way to put up points. However, I don't trust them the week after their number one game plan in Rashee Rice goes out. I think that makes Travis Kelce much more defendable. Xavier Worthy, I think that makes him much more defendable, especially at this point in his career where he is like early stage Tyreek Hill, where he's really just going to be trying to win down the field and on like deep crossers and things like that. So I'm going to go with the Saints. I think they can put together a game plan. I think this offense will be consistent enough. And I also think they're going to get after Patrick Mahomes. One of the things, too, Kingsley Suamataia has not looked great.
Well, I don't think he's played. I had to go back and double check today. I know he got benched for Wanya Morris last week. So I had to go back and double check exactly who started. But
I know he was playing in the Falcons game last week, and I thought I saw him out against the Chargers. On Sunday.
I'll check here real quick.
Either way, whoever has been playing left tackle for the Chiefs has not been up to par, and I think Jawan Taylor has been okay, but for a $20 million tackle. Not performing well. And so I think there are some holes here. And also, I don't think the Chiefs have a running game that they can rely on with Carson Steele and Kareem Hunt with Isaiah Pacheco out. I think that is another really big loss that people haven't necessarily been touching on. So I'm going to go with the Saints here on the Monday night upset. I think the Chiefs get their first loss of the season against a well-coached Saints team.
I like it. So, my phone's being too slow right now. So definitely let us know in the comments on just the overall playing time. Either way, though, it's not like either player has really been doing a great job. They've been rotating them in or out. And so, but I think it's going to be a fun Monday Night Football game. This will be absolutely wild. A lot going on, I will say, in the NFC South, because if the Falcons win, they'll go to 3-2 with an advantage over the Bucs and the Saints. And then if the Saints win as well, then they'll be 3-2 also. So there'll be 3 teams tied at 3-2, and then the Panthers probably at 1-5 or 1-4 at the end of week 4. Week 5, there it is.
Yeah, and then I think the Chiefs would be 4-1. They'd be well in control.
Chiefs are
AFC West. They have probably the easiest division in football at the moment.
Yeah, just reminds me like
I know
another team had an amazing dynasty run going and how tough their division was. It reminds me.
I know, and I will say credit to them. Like, part of the reason why the AFC West is so bad right now is because the Chiefs are so good. Like they make those teams kind of perpetually in a rebuild because they can never gain enough traction to win a division and get to the playoffs.
Yeah. So is that what you told yourself when the Patriots were so good all those years?
Hey, the Patriots had the same winning winning percentage inside the division is outside. So,
well, yeah, well, no, duh, because they were just.
well, yeah, they just beat
beat
the crap out of everybody. Yeah, so it didn't matter, is what I'm saying. They could have been in the division with some of the top teams, and it wouldn't have mattered. So, let's go ahead. We're going to wrap this one up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on who you think is going to come out ahead in this Monday Night Football matchup. Will it be the New Orleans Saints? Will it be the Kansas City Chiefs? So that we'll see you guys next time.